What is going on, YouTube, and welcome back to another video. In today's video, I'm gonna be taking you guys through my new and improved Agogi 2.0, AKA my garage gym. A lot of you guys have been asking to see the full tour since I moved into my new house. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the tour. All right, so the way I'm gonna do this video is I'm gonna actually talk and then just do a bunch of clips of all montages of my garage gym. That way I could get through this video very effectively and you guys can see what it all looks like. Because when I look at garage gym videos online, I really just wanna see all the equipment, not the guys talking. So let me break down the specs. First of all, one, when we moved into this house, this entire garage was all white. I knew exactly what I was gonna do with it. It is a 3-car garage. It's broken up into 2 sections. So I have my gym portion, which is a 20 by 20 section. And then I have my Olympic lifting, my daughter's gymnastics. I plan to actually put like wrestling mats down so that I could wrestle with my daughter. And when my son gets older, I could wrestle with him. And it could be like basically just a fun spot for the kids to practice whatever sport they are in at that time. So right now my daughter is currently in gymnastics, hence why we have the gymnastics bar. But anyway, this is a 12 by 20 section. The flooring in this part is 3/4 inch thick, and these are actually lifting mats that I got off of Facebook Marketplace, and they were taken out of an old commercial gym. So they're very thick. So if I want to do any Olympic lifting, I'll do it over here. If I want to do jump roping, if I want to do burpees, if I want to just do lunges, it's very easy to do it on this section of the gym since it is completely open. On the actual strength side of the gym, the 20 by 20, the flooring that I went with, I believe I got it from gymflooring.com or something like that. I forgot what it was. Really cool company. If I remember, I'll put the link actually in the description, that way you guys know it. I only went with an 1/8 inch thick. The reason why, to do 20 by 20 of 3/4 inch, it was gonna be very expensive. An 1/8 of an inch for what I use it for, because again, you gotta think about what you're gonna use your garage gym for. I am not dropping heavy weight from super high, possibly damaging the concrete, my foundation. I don't do a lot of deadlifts. I don't do a lot of power cleans. Even when I'm using dumbbells, I never just throw them on the ground. And if I wanted to do any of that, I have options. One, I could do it on the single car garage where there's 3/4 inch thick lifting pads that will protect my concrete, or I could always get those foam pads. I think there's the slam pads or whatever to drop the weight. So that's another option. So I did that. The flooring actually, I think it only cost about $1,000, if that. They delivered it, was pretty easy to install, took about a day, and then that was that. And like I said, I've had these for a little over a year, and they get the job done. So flooring is very important when it comes to a garage gym. Second thing that I will talk about is lighting. Lighting is key, and the reason why some people are probably like, oh, it's not that big of a deal. I think when it comes to your garage gym, you need to create a space that you want to go to. I wanted it to feel like its own place. And there's some science behind that I've read in books, that when it comes to your office, you need to create a spot that when you walk into it, like makes your mind think, I'm here to do busy work, or I'm here to do work. I'm here to focus on my goals. If you have a reading chair in your house, it's like, I go there to read. I go here to watch TV, and you never intermix them because your mind doesn't know how to like decipher between what is what, as opposed to when I wake up at 4 o'clock in the morning and I come out here, it's like, this is where I work out. Nothing else happens here, therefore my body knows it's time to work out. There's some psychology behind it, you gotta trust me. So anyway, I think lighting is important. I think flags, I think mirrors, I think posters, I think paint. I actually even painted this one black just because I really wanted to create a different vibe than my last one, which was white. White was bright, it was cool, but this one I wanted it to feel a little more like a dungeon. So anyways, let's go through. I'm gonna start over here and then just walk you through basically my entire gym. All right, starting right here, we have the first wall mount. This is, again, I got it from off of Home Depot. I don't even think it was just something that I could hang everything. That's another thing when it comes to my gym. I wanted most of it, all the stuff off the floor. I didn't want it on the ground. I wanted it to look very clean. So just some different attachments that I got. Most of these are from Amazon, nothing crazy. Oh, before I forget, this is actually a heater. In my old garage gym, I had a mini split. However, this time I was like, you know what, I'll just keep it a little bit simpler. So I got this, which is my heater that I use when it's pretty cold down in the gym, and it works. It heats up. Let me show you what it looks like. It heats up where I'm at. So if I'm like if I'm in the squat rack, I'll plug it in near the squat rack and it will heat me up enough. If I'm on the treadmill, I'll point it towards the treadmill. If I'm near the dumbbells. So what's nice is I got a long enough extension cord that I just move it around with me. Nothing crazy. And then obviously a fan. First piece of equipment, I've had this. This was actually, I think, the first piece that I bought in my old gym. It's a lat pull down slash cable row. Not the best type of equipment, if I'm being honest. It's a Titan Fitness. It doesn't feel like a commercial grade piece of equipment, but I want to say at the time it was like 150 bucks. So for the price that I paid for it, it was very affordable, and it gets the job done. I really like the lat pull down. The cable row is a little bit, takes some getting used to, but like I said, it gets the job done. Haven't had any issues with this. The second machine, which is also from Titan Fitness, is their single cable. My only recommendation when it comes to this is I wish I would have got the one that was taller. I got the shorter version because I didn't know where I was gonna put it in the gym. And the shorter one has had some issues with the actual cable, which I think I could just replace it. But this is a good attachment if you wanna do any single arm, like tricep extensions. I usually use this for triceps, sometimes biceps, but for the most part triceps. You could also use it for shoulder flies and stuff like that. I will say when you use one, it's better than using both of them. When you use both of them, it doesn't feel that smooth, if I'm being honest. Mirror right behind it, which this mirror, I actually got, a friend gave it to me because he knew I was setting up my gym, so I got that. Box jump. I think box jump is very important to have in your garage gym, just so that you could be very functional. Actually, my dad built this for me. Shout out to Papa John, he's a builder. He built this for me, so I use this a lot. Then we got a clock, recommend a clock just so you know what time it is. It's also nice to know what temperature it is in the garage gym, just because sometimes it gets cold and then sometimes it's like 100 degrees out here. So next up, we got the dumbbell rack. This dumbbell rack, I think I paid 100 bucks from someone. Again, I think it's from a commercial gym, works really well. All I did was spray paint it. Another side note, if you have a gym, figure out what color you want your gym to be. And then I would say try and match it as much as you can. So this was silver. I think I spray painted it red, put some a 4x4 underneath it. That way it sat a little bit higher. That's another thing when it comes to your garage gym. You're gonna get very creative on how to make your vision a reality. So got some kettlebells underneath it. When it comes to dumbbells, I got the 5s, the 25s in increments of 5s, and I got those from Dick's Sporting Goods. Not the best dumbbells, if I'm being honest. You could kind of twist them off. But then again, I've had them for 5 years. They have not broken or anything like that. So quality-wise, they get the job done. These are also from an old commercial gym. I got them from that same guy that I got the mats and the rack from. These are in increments of 10. And the reason why I did that is space saving. If I would have had 5s of everything, it would have been a huge rack. I didn't want to do that. And then when it comes to it, going from 30s to 40s may just take an extra week. Instead of like, oh, I don't have 35s, like just make the jump. It's not that hard. Also, what I thought of is I have one dumbbell that is like 26. These kettlebells are 35s or 30, they're in kilos, so I'm not really sure, but it's basically 35. These kettlebells are 44s, and I want to say this one's like 55s. So if you do want the 5s, what I would recommend is just get the kettlebell version and do the kettlebells in increments of like 55, 65, 75, or whatever they are in kilos. I already know someone's gonna get me for that, but that's how I figured out how to space save. Got another mirror. This came from our current house's bathroom mirror. Basically just took it out of there, brought it out here. So it looks like, it's a very nice looking mirror, except for obviously it cracked in the side, which I don't really care, it gets the job done. This banner, I get asked a lot, where did I get the banner? I think it was on Vistaprint. This is a Bible verse that I absolutely love, Isaiah 54:17, and then I just put basically a picture, created it. I think it was like 50 bucks. Again, that was 5 years ago, but it's just something that just, working out is all mental. So if you could get stuff that makes you hyped to lift and work out, I would recommend it, and that's one of the banners that did it. Got a 20-pound slam ball, got a 60-pound slam ball, and then got a rope. If I'm being honest, I don't really ever use that rope just because my shoulders are trash. But maybe if I use that rope, they wouldn't be trash. I don't know. And then we got this, I call it the storage rack, because it basically just stores all my stuff. Actually, let me put you over here. Storage rack. So got a ab mat, got a roller, got a sandbag, another sandbag I could put in here, got an ab roller, got another foam roller, got an ab ball or yoga ball, whatever it's called. I got an ab mat, I got a medicine ball, whoops, and then another foam roller. So this is basically just my storage. That's where I keep all my stuff. Got a TV. I don't really actually use it to watch TV. I haven't tried it yet. I just think it's too far away from my treadmill, but what I do is I'll turn it on and put it on Spotify, and during the day I do got surround sound out here, so I'll turn up some music to get me in the mood, usually Viking music, or if my daughter's out here, it's some Disney soundtrack. Moana, Mulan soundtrack definitely goes ham. I usually listen to that. This is my laptop, which I keep all my workouts in here, so it's very easy to track. This is honestly probably my favorite part of the gym, is the fact that I don't have to carry around a pad of paper or like a notebook. It's like this. I come out here, I open up, I see what my workout is for the day, and go to work. Very nice. Whiteboard. I had this mounted in my old gym. However, I love that it's not mounted because I'm able to move it around. So if I'm doing something on the treadmill, the rower and stuff over there, I'm able to bring it over there. Clutch. And then this is like a tool rack from Walmart. If you look at Rogue or even Amazon, sometimes they're a little pricey. I think I paid 10 bucks for this, but basically just bands, jump ropes, belts, all the miscellaneous stuff. And then if I go over here, which is actually the main part of the gym, I'm trying to figure out where I'm gonna put you guys. The main part of the gym, all my weights. Now, when it comes to bumper plates, I got these also from that same guy that I got all my stuff from. You don't need bumper plates that are this nice. I know Eleiko is very well like calibrated and stuff, but unless you're competing, like if you're doing some strongman or something and you need them, then that makes sense. But if you're literally just like most people that watch this channel, that's just a dad trying to be in shape, then I would just recommend getting the cheapest bumper plates you can get. And I would say bumper, just so that if they're steel and you ever decide, hey, you know what, I think I want to start doing Olympic lifting or like stuff that's going to involve dropping weights, I would say skip out on the steel, just go with the rubber so that you have them all the time. I think I have I think last time I counted it was like 750 pounds in bumpers. I really don't need that because I don't even lift over 315 on any of my Olympic lifts. But it is nice because if you need to put weight on different machines, like that weight never comes off my lat pull down so it works. As for this squat rack, the main focal point of my gym, this squat rack, I forgot where I got it from, but it was getting thrown away. This was black. I ended up spray painting it and it works. I ended up trimming it down because it came out a little bit farther. I didn't really want it that far, but it has a pull-up bar. And then a higher bar if I want to do like leg lifts or anything like that. but you gotta have a good squat rack. I got a landmine attachment, which that landmine attachment is not even meant for this squat rack. However, Amazon, you can find anything. So side note on that, when it comes to creating your garage gym, I would recommend looking on Amazon for most things. Most things that I've gotten on Amazon, I have not had a problem with. Like all these weight storage I got off of Amazon. If you look at like Rogue or Titan, you're gonna be paying a lot of money for these. These came in like packs of 2, I think for like 40 or 45 bucks. So I was able to do all this and save like 400 or 300 bucks compared to going to like Rep, Titan, or Rogue. And again, it's nothing against those companies. A lot of the equipment in here is from those 3 companies. They're phenomenal. But when it comes to creating your garage gym, if you could save money, save money. Next thing, this deadlift bar, trap bar. Got this for Christmas off of Amazon after I just made it sound like Amazon was the key. However, I'm not really happy with this trap bar. The reason why is it has these on the side that allow you to basically rack the weight while it's on the ground. The problem is it keeps the bar off the ground. So when you drop it, which for someone who's 35, gonna be 36 next week or 2 weeks, it actually probably makes sense because it's not too taxing on my lower body. But that's my only downfall with this. I think it was only 100 bucks though. And again, if you look at trap bars online, or hex bars, whatever they're called, they're a little bit pricier. Got this dip bar off of Amazon, super happy with it. It gets the job done. And again, I knew my actual squat rack was a 3x3, so I just typed in 3x3 dip bar on Amazon and got it off of there. This weight bar, got that off Amazon. And then obviously these are my only bars that I have. Basically just 2 Olympic bars and an easy curl bar. I couldn't tell you what Olympic bars they are. I know there's really fancy ones out there like the Ohios and the Rogues and all. I don't know what it is, but it gets the job done. I've had it for 5 years, never had to replace it. Next up, I got a leg extension and leg curl machine. If I'm being honest, it gets the job done. I don't use it as much as I do or I used to. That's another thing. When it comes to your garage gym, you're gonna go through phases. You're gonna go through phases where it's like you're all bodybuilding. You may go through a phase where it's all powerlifting. You may go through a phase where it's all functional CrossFit. Depending on your phases, that's how you create your gym. I created my gym with the fact of like, originally I was like, I wanna get a leg press, I wanna get a chest press machine, now it's more like, no, I wanna be like a superhero and functional / CrossFit / bodybuilder. I never powerlifted, never did that. Respect to people that do it, I just don't do it. So I don't use this much, or as much as I used to. It doesn't take up much space though, so that's why I kept it. It's great if you get an injury and you need to do some work. However, when it comes to loading it up with heavy weight, it doesn't move the smoothest, but it gets the job done. Next up, got a spin bike. I just recently actually started incorporating this more into my workouts. I would have loved to get the Concept 2 one. Problem is that sucker's like 1,200 bucks, and at the time I could not justify spending 1,200 bucks on a bike. This one I think was like $250 on Amazon, and it gets the job done. Like, it's not easy. The seat sucks, but I just bought a $10 seat off Amazon. Amazon pretty much sponsored this gym, and it works. But this is a great tool to use for like a warm up or even a burner at the end. I can't really sit on it for like 30 minutes, but I'll do like 5-minute warm up or incorporate it into some type of conditioning piece. It works. Next up, weight bench. Got this off of Facebook Marketplace. Had it for 5 years, it works. I couldn't tell you which kind it is, but it is adjustable. It doesn't decline, but it inclines, and then obviously is regular. Appreciate you guys holding on for this long. I know it's a longer video, but I wanted to do a thorough job of my garage gym. So if you're enjoying this video, make sure you give it a thumbs up. I'd greatly appreciate that. Next up, we got the Rogue Echo bike. This sucker sucks. There's nothing easy about this. This thing, it doesn't matter how many times you do it. You can't build up stamina for this, but it's built like a tank. Highly recommend getting it. This is a great cardio piece. Next up so if you look at my gym, it's like I got my cable attachments, I got my dumbbells, I got my accessories, I got my squat rack, And then this section, I wanted it to be basically like my cardio row. I call it cardio row because I got my bike, I got my Echo bike, I got my treadmill, which I actually just replaced my previous treadmill. So my previous treadmill I got from a commercial gym. It was a freaking tank. It was crazy heavy and built very strong. However, when we moved into my new house, when you got on it, the motor was basically burnt out. So anytime you stepped on it, it would cut the power. So I was like, that's probably not a good sign. So did some shopping online and thought to myself, I'm gonna be on, I use the treadmill a lot. So I had to look at my options. I know there's like the Woodway, the Assault Runners, and then I know Nordic Tracks is very famous, and there's Bowflex and all those. So I did my research. I felt like this was the best one for what I was gonna use it for, and then also what my wife would use it for. So I wanna say it's the Nordic Track 1750 is what we went with. Very comfortable to run on, very smooth, has a lot of features, if I'm being honest. I don't see me using all the features it has. Like it has Netflix, that's cool. I use that a lot. But it doesn't have like Prime or Disney or anything. So if you wanna watch your shows on it, you can't really. I use it a lot for walking though. So that's what's nice. I'm not a big fan that everything's touchscreen because when you're running on it and you're in the moment and you're fully running, it's very hard to basically stabilize and then hit the screen as opposed to an actual button. I think that would have been a little bit nicer. So I think if I was to go back, there might be a different treadmill that I actually went with. However, I know Nordic Track has a lot of good rep. So I'm hoping that this thing lasts for a while. But anyway, this was the newest feature, got that. And then we got 2 more pieces and we are done. Last 2 pieces in cardio row. I got the Concept 2 ski erg. Love that thing. That thing sucks. And then I got the Concept 2 rower. But that is pretty much my entire gym. So just recap this video and then give you my key takeaways for anybody that's looking at creating their own garage gym. All right, so all in all, I've said this in all my garage gym videos. A garage gym is probably one of the biggest flexes you can have if you are a husband and a dad. And the reason why, it's the best investment you'll ever make. One, obviously the best investment for your health to ensure that you're here for a very long time to be there for your wife and your kids. The second, you're able to invest more time in your family because you have a garage gym as opposed to if you had to drive to the gym. And I've used this analogy before. Before, when I had a gym, or when I would go to a gym, which was 5 years ago, it took me about 20 minutes to get to the gym, depending on traffic. Once I got to the gym, say I had an hour workout. That hour workout could turn into an hour and a half, 2 hours, sometimes even 3, depending on variables that you cannot control. One, is it busy? Which means now you have to wait for people to get off their machine so that you can get on it. 2, are there people there that you know that keep coming up to you and saying, hey, what's up, and visiting, and now it's social hour. And then 3, the worst is when you're expecting to have a good workout and you get there and the piece of equipment you need is out of order. That's the worst. And then, again, you have to drive home. So depending on what time, like if it's holiday season, there's traffic, there's so many variables that, like I said, could take an hour workout and turn it into a 3-hour process just from, if you count from the time you leave to at the gym to coming back home. I didn't want to deal with that. I literally am able to wake up at 4. I'm usually out here by 4:30. By the time I'm done with my pre-workout and kind of getting awake, and then I get out here at 4:30, and I know for sure I'm going to get in the house at 6 o'clock because there's no variables that all the stuff that I said is eliminated. It's not like a piece of equipment's out. It's not like I'm gonna socialize. It's not like there's traffic. And then I'm able to go inside, shower real quick. So, like I said, it's gonna be an investment. It obviously costs some money, but that being said, you don't have to drop 50 G's at the beginning when you're building your gym. I would say the first thing you need is obviously a squat rack. I would get a squat rack, a bar, some bumpers, and then maybe a couple pair of dumbbells, and you're good to go. When it comes to like the things you could add on, after that, maybe get a couple pieces of cardio equipment, maybe get some mats, maybe start doing some cosmetics around the gym so it feels functional. Things you can hold off on, I would say the cable machines, the accessory machines, the multiple pieces of something. Like, what are you gonna do most? Are you training for a marathon? I'd recommend getting a treadmill. If you're training for a triathlon, maybe get a treadmill and a bike, or get a bike and then run outside. Like, find ways to save money. But that would be one of my biggest tips, is figure out what you're into and then start creating your gym around it. Another key thing, like, and I'll say it, and some people will be like, bro, it's not like that. You could just, you're there to lift. You're not there to hang out. But I am a big believer of it needs to be a fun place. And when I say fun place, I mean, when you walk out, you should be able to mentally flip a switch of like, I'm here to do work. I'm here to get better. I have some goals I want to focus on. And this vibe in here, from the lighting to the paint to what I love about this gym is I got windows, so I got natural light coming in. If it's hot and I'm sweating like crazy, I could open up all 3 garage doors, turn on the fan, turn on the music, just have it blaring, and literally just get in the zone. I think you need a spot that excites you to want to work out. I think that is one of the major benefits of a garage gym, is you could come in here, no one's in here, no one's looking at you, no one's talking to you. You can literally come out here and act a fool and no one's gonna be able to judge you. But it's a spot where you can improve on. So I'm a firm believer. I think everybody needs at least a garage gym. Do you need a 2-car or a 3-car or a separate building? That's my ultimate goal, is to have, we got a half acre now. My goal eventually is to build like a 20 by 20, 10-foot ceiling, just sanctuary in my backyard. But that being said, do you need that? Absolutely not. You can use a single car garage. You can use a 10 by 10 area and make it work. There's a lot of people out there that make it work with way less than the space that I have, but they just got to start. Just get started, build your routine, and then build out your garage gym. So anyways, that wraps up this video of the Agogi 2.0. Someone said, why do you call it Agogi? You should know I'm big into Spartan races. So the Agogi is where the Spartans trained back in the day. So this is Agogi 2.0 because obviously my first gym at my old house was Agogi. So now that this is done, I'm gonna jump into an actual workout because it's 74 degrees. It's 1 o'clock in the afternoon. I'm gonna open up the garage doors, open up the windows, turn on the fan, bump some Mulan, and get to work. But if you guys have any questions about any of the equipment or anything like that, please feel free to comment below. I'd love to help you guys out, especially if you're thinking about ways to build out your garage gym or how to do it. I always get super geeked out about that and excited when I hear that. So appreciate you guys watching. You guys already know the motto: stay happy, stay healthy, and above all, don't be average. I'll catch you guys in the next one.